Let's get a check now of the top business news stories. Our business editor, Kate Moody's here. Hi there, Kate.
Hi, Tom.
Now, the EU's COVID passport, or digital health certificate, as some are calling it, is officially up and running. Tell us more.
Yeah, 7 member states have launched the program, which is essentially an app that will standardize and collate test results or proof of vaccination. The information will be stored in a QR code that can be scanned and recognized by all of the EU's 27 member states, plus neighbors Iceland, Norway, and Liechtenstein. The idea is to allow travel and other activities to resume safely across the bloc. Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Germany, Greece, Croatia, and Poland have all started using the system. Others will follow by the 1st of July.
We're launching the technical infrastructure that allows for the safe and privacy-friendly validation of all certificates, the EU Gateway. This is a great success, well ahead of time, which gives us every reason to be confident that the system will be fully up and running by the 1st of July.
The World Trade Organization has this week relaunched negotiations on a temporary waiver of intellectual property rights or patents of COVID-19 vaccines. The Biden administration threw its support behind the proposal in a surprise about-face a month ago, but there's still debate on whether it's the best strategy to speed up vaccination across the globe. Luke Schrago explains.
The idea has been on the table for months. An intellectual property waiver on COVID-19 products, in particular vaccines that could put a swifter end to the pandemic, with nations like India and South Africa leading the charge at the World Trade Organization.
Agreement will allow use of intellectual property, the sharing of technologies and technology transfer, so that we achieve the ambition of none of us are safe until all of us are safe.
In October, Pretoria and New Delhi put forward the idea, one that gained a sizable boost after Washington came out in favour last month. However, it's undergone revisions, and negotiators think it's unlikely to pass in its current form. Its scope is wider than before, and even if it were to pass, it would need another full consensus from all 164 WTO members to end, meaning any one country could keep it in effect indefinitely. What's more, there's ingrained opposition from Canada, Switzerland, Korea, the UK and the European Union, who say it's not a matter of sharing the technology, but the means to make it.
We need to collectively help emerging market economies more, boosting the production of vaccines. Intellectual property waivers may help the supply of vaccines, but not in the short term. And what we need is sufficient global production capacity now.
Even the World Health Organization seems to agree, with its director speaking of gaps in production and the need to get vaccines into circulation in less developed countries before coronavirus variants have a chance to spread.
Inflation jumped sharply in the Eurozone in May to its highest level in nearly 3 years. The official rate of inflation rose from 1.6% to 2%. The European Central Bank targets just under that threshold as the ideal pace. Consumer price growth in the U.S. recently hit 4.2%, and some are worried that that could encourage central banks to dial back their emergency aid, bond buying, or loose monetary policy sooner rather than later. The ECB and Federal Reserve, however, have said that hot inflation is likely to be temporary. They expect it will settle in the months to come without any change in policy. Meanwhile, unemployment in the Eurozone dropped slightly to 8% in April, although the youth jobless rate remained unchanged at 17.2%. Let's check in on the day's trading action now. The major European indices closed higher, gains of between 2/3 and nearly 1%, boosted by data suggesting a strong rise in manufacturing and factory activity in both the Eurozone and the United Kingdom. Wall Street is more muted as it returns after a long Labor Day weekend. The Dow Jones slightly above the flat line there, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ down. Oil prices, meanwhile, have hit their highest levels in 2 years, even as OPEC and its oil-producing allies agreed to boost output in July. Finally, after 15 years, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development has a new Secretary General. Former Australian Finance Minister Matthias Cormann has taken over from Angel Gurria, who served 3 terms bookmarked by the global financial crisis and the coronavirus pandemic. Cormann said that multilateral cooperation is key to addressing the world's most pressing problems.
We must help maximize the strength of the economic recovery in the wake of COVID-19 through strong, sustainable, cleaner, more inclusive growth. We must drive and promote global leadership on ambitious and effective action on climate change. We must finalize the multilateral approach to digital taxation and the effective international taxation arrangements that apply to large multinational companies.
All right, lots of the same problems, of course, but being addressed by a new head.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Our business editor, Kate Moody. Thank you so much. Time now for a check of what's happening